President Putin, I say, your reckless actions risk a direct armed confrontation between NATO and Russia. Our alliance is defensive, but be under no illusion. We stand ready to take all steps necessary to defend NATO's skies and NATO's territory. We are vigilant and we are resolute. And if we need to confront planes that are operating in NATO airspace without permission, then we will do so.
Europe stands on the brink. Russian fighter jets violate NATO skies, daring the alliance to respond. France shocks the world by officially recognizing Palestine, defying Israel and the United States. Donald Trump signs an executive order designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, fueling debate about freedom, extremism, and the future of democracy. At the same time, German Eurofighters scramble, Polish leaders warn of no second chances, and UN diplomats scramble to prevent a crisis that could spiral into full-scale war. These are not isolated headlines. They are threads in a much larger story, a fragile international order under immense strain, pushed to its breaking point. Today, we examine these events in detail. What do they mean for Europe, the Middle East, and the United States? And how close are we to a conflict that no one wants, but everyone fears? Welcome to Great Britain, your home for serious global analysis. If you value deep reporting, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this documentary. It helps us reach more people, and it ensures you stay informed in uncertain times. The story begins in Eastern Europe, the frontier where NATO and Russia stare each other down. At the United Nations Security Council, Poland's Foreign Minister, Radosław Sikorski, issued a chilling warning. If another missile or aircraft enters our space without permission, deliberately or by mistake, and gets shot down, please don't come here to whine about it. It was blunt, almost undiplomatic, but it captured the reality of Eastern Europe today. Poland, Estonia, Romania, and Lithuania, all frontline NATO members, have seen Russian aircraft cross into their skies. Sometimes it is drones. Sometimes it is fighter jets. Sometimes both. Estonia reported 3 Russian MiG-31s in its airspace for 12 minutes. Poland tracked 20 Russian drones crossing its skies earlier this month, forcing NATO jets to intercept. Romania has reported similar incursions. These are not random. They are calculated. The Kremlin is probing NATO's patience, testing its resolve, and sending a signal: we are not afraid of your borders. For Poland's Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, enough is enough. Speaking to reporters, he warned, "We will make a decision to shoot down flying objects without discussion when they violate our territory." There is no room for debate here. To understand why this matters, we must look back. During the Cold War, incidents like this were rare and dangerous. A single miscalculation could have triggered nuclear war. Today, the stakes are the same. NATO operates under Article 5 of its charter. An attack on one member is an attack on all. If Russia pushes too far and NATO responds militarily, the alliance is obligated to stand together. That means the United States, Britain, France, Germany, and dozens of allies would be pulled directly into conflict. Already, Germany has scrambled Eurofighter jets to intercept Russian aircraft. The RAF has patrolled Polish skies. NATO radars scan constantly for violations. And yet, Russia denies everything. The Kremlin claims these are routine flights, blaming NATO for exaggeration. But European officials see something darker: deliberate provocations designed to stretch NATO's unity. This is the most dangerous game of brinkmanship since the Cuban Missile Crisis. If a Russian jet is shot down, if wreckage falls inside NATO territory, what happens next? Retaliation? Escalation? Diplomacy? Even NATO generals admit, once the first shot is fired, events may spiral beyond anyone's control. And so Europe waits, nervous, watchful, and preparing for the worst. While Europe braces for confrontation with Moscow, Paris has taken a bold step in the Middle East. French President Emmanuel Macron addressed his nation with solemn conviction. We must do everything within our power to preserve the very possibility of a two-state solution. That is why I declare that today, France recognizes the state of Palestine. The announcement reverberated instantly across the world. In Ramallah, Palestinian officials hailed the move as historic. In Tel Aviv, Israeli leaders condemned it as a betrayal. In Washington, U.S. officials urged caution, warning it could derail peace efforts. Why did Macron act now? For months, the humanitarian situation in Gaza has deteriorated. Israeli restrictions on aid have left parts of the Strip facing famine. Bombardments have killed civilians. Infrastructure lies in ruins. Nearly 500,000 people have fled Gaza City. At the same time, Israel has announced plans to accelerate settlement construction in the West Bank, a move many believe will permanently block the chance of a two-state solution. For Macron, waiting was no longer an option. France, long a defender of Middle Eastern diplomacy, decided to act where others hesitated. Of course, recognition is symbolic. France cannot force Israel to accept a Palestinian state, but symbolism matters. Recognition shifts the narrative, encourages other European nations, including the UK and Belgium, to reconsider their positions, and signals to the world that Palestinian statehood is not a dream to be postponed forever. Critics argue it emboldens Hamas or undermines Israel's security. Supporters counter that ignoring Palestinian statehood only strengthens extremists. Whatever the outcome, Macron has redrawn the map of European diplomacy. And make no mistake, history will remember this moment. Across the Atlantic, a very different kind of announcement shook the United States. Donald Trump, former president and likely candidate in the 2024 elections, signed an executive order designating Antifa, a loosely organized movement of anti-fascist activists, as a domestic terrorist organization. The order came days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a right-wing activist. Trump has linked the killing to Antifa-affiliated extremists, though the evidence remains contested. The executive order empowers federal agencies to investigate, disrupt, and prosecute Antifa-linked groups, and even those accused of funding them. Trump declared, "We will investigate, disrupt, and dismantle Antifa or anyone who acts on its behalf. We will target not only the activists but those who fund them." For Trump supporters, this is long overdue, a crackdown on what they view as violent left-wing extremism. For critics, it is dangerous, turning a broad activist network into a scapegoat, risking abuse against lawful protesters, and deepening political divisions in an already polarized America. Civil rights groups warn that the move could criminalize dissent, painting anyone with leftist views as a potential terrorist. In global terms, Trump's move signals something bigger. America's internal divisions are spilling onto the international stage. Allies worry that Washington is too consumed by domestic battles to lead abroad. Adversaries, like Russia and China, see opportunity. The world is watching closely, because when America turns inward, the balance of global power shifts. When you zoom out, the pattern becomes clear. NATO versus Russia in Eastern Europe. France versus Israel in Middle Eastern diplomacy. Trump versus Antifa in American politics. Each crisis is different, but they all reflect a world order under immense pressure. Diplomats whisper about a multi-front breakdown. A Russian jet shot down, igniting a NATO-Russia confrontation. Israel retaliating against French recognition of Palestine. America distracted by internal conflict, unable to lead. It is a world of miscalculations, of overlapping crises, of leaders gambling with stability. In such a world, the margin for error is vanishingly small. So where does this leave us? For NATO, the line has been drawn. Any further Russian violation will be met with force. For France, recognition of Palestine has shifted the diplomatic center of gravity in Europe. For the United States, Trump's executive order reflects a country at war with itself. The coming weeks will be critical. Will Russia push further? Will Israel retaliate diplomatically against France? Will Trump's move trigger protests? Or worse? The answers remain uncertain. But one thing is clear. We are living in a world where the unexpected has become the new normal. Europe on the edge. The Middle East in turmoil. America divided. These are not tomorrow's problems. They are today's realities. And how leaders respond now will shape the next decade. That is why we at Great Britain will continue to bring you these stories. Not just the headlines, but the deeper context. If you found this documentary valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it widely. The more people understand the stakes, the better prepared we all are. Because knowledge is power. And in uncertain times, power begins with awareness.